The first image doesn't look dramatic. It looks routine. A line of men standing in snow beside freshly cut timber. But the trunks are wrong. They rise higher than the workers' shoulders even after being cut and stacked. Not one or two logs. Entire piles. The men are close to the camera. Their boots touch the same ground as the timber. There is no forced perspective. The contradiction sits quietly in the frame. Ordinary men. Extraordinary material. And tools that don't seem to belong to either. The accepted explanation is simple. Siberia once had vast old-growth forests. Trees grew larger in colder climates. Early photography distorts scale. Loggers used oversized tools to increase efficiency. That explanation accounts for the environment. It accounts for the wood, but it does not account for the tools as they are found. What's missing here is proportional logic. Axes recovered from these regions are not just heavy. Their handles are thicker than modern equivalents. Not longer, thicker. Grip marks suggest hands that wrapped fully around them. Saw blades show tooth spacing designed for deeper, wider cuts. These are not novelty items. They show fatigue, sharpening marks, repairs. They were used repeatedly. Cabins near these logging sites add another problem. Door frames average 8 feet or more. Ceiling beams sit higher than necessary. Bunks are unusually long. Tables are elevated. These are working spaces, not ceremonial halls, where patterns on floors show longer stride lengths between steps. Why build daily use spaces like this if no one needed them? Once the scale mismatch is noticed in one site, it becomes harder to ignore elsewhere. Similar tools appear in collections across eastern Siberia. The same dimensions repeat. Museum labels describe them vaguely as large forestry implements. Earlier catalogs used more specific language. Later ones do not. Photographs from different provinces show the same visual tension. Men posed with stumps taller than single-story buildings. Equipment resting against logs that dwarf it, yet fit it. No commentary, no curiosity in captions. Just dates and locations. Production records from the mid-1800s show timber output that increases sharply without a matching rise in workforce numbers. The math is not discussed. Reports simply note that production improved. No new machinery is listed. No population boom recorded. What's missing here is the labor explanation. Surveyors' notes from the period describe cleared areas completed faster than projected. The language is restrained. Words like unexpected and efficient appear briefly, then vanish from later summaries. The details are never expanded. In 1893, the tone changes. Tool inventories shift. Photographs begin to show smaller equipment. The oversized tools are no longer visible. They are not replaced by mechanized alternatives. They simply stop appearing. After this year, descriptions align with modern expectations. Human scale returns. Forests remain large, but the narrative tightens. The mismatch disappears. No major reform is recorded. No disaster. No official transition. Just a narrowing of description. Census data from the same decade shows small settlements vanishing between counts. Names are removed. Classifications change. The population loss is minor on paper, easy to ignore. Timber production continues. Why would output remain stable if labor capacity changed? Oral histories collected later include brief references to big cutters or heavy men. The phrases are vague. They are not emphasized. In later transcriptions, these lines are shortened or removed entirely. Architecture offers another clue. Foundations in former camps are rated for heavier loads than later structures require. Equipment sheds are oversized relative to their contents. Doorways are boarded, not resized. Adaptation without explanation. If the scale difference were an error, it would correct gradually. Instead, it stops abruptly. Some tools survive in storage. Their provenance is unclear. Accession notes list incomplete origins. Dates are approximate. Locations are generalized. The objects exist, but their context has been thinned. Photographs still exist. The timber still towers. The men still appear smaller than expected. The investigation keeps encountering the same pattern. Functional objects built for larger forces. Spaces shaped for taller bodies. Records that acknowledge this casually, then stop. The silence is consistent. If nothing unusual happened, why did the language change? Why did description retreat? Why did attention narrow? The material does not argue. It waits. The question remains open, not because it is dramatic, but because it was never closed. If you want to keep looking at what the records no longer explain, you can comment or subscribe and stay with the investigation a little longer.